The sun had barely risen over the small town of Rockford when the silence of the morning was broken by the desperate cry of a little girl. Standing outside the city hospital, barefoot and trembling, she shouted, "Those men won't let my mommy in the hospital!" Her voice cracked through the air, echoing with a fear that made everyone turn. Inside a black van parked nearby, a group of leather-clad bikers from the Hells Angels chapter were just finishing their morning coffee before a charity ride for children's health. Their leader, a broad-shouldered man named Reed Bulldog Turner, heard the scream and looked up sharply. His instincts kicked in. This wasn't just a child throwing a tantrum, that was a cry for help. "Stay here," he told the others, his deep voice calm but commanding. He swung his boot over his Harley, revved it once, and rolled toward the hospital entrance where the commotion was growing. At the gate stood two bulky security guards, their arms crossed, blocking a woman who looked pale and weak, clutching her stomach. The little girl was tugging at her mother's coat, tears streaming down her face. "Please, my husband's inside. He was in an accident. I need to see him," the woman pleaded. "Ma'am," one of the guards replied coldly, "no visitors allowed. You'll have to wait." "But he's dying," she cried. "They called me. They said he might not make it." The guard simply shook his head. Reed parked his bike beside the curb, his presence instantly drawing attention. He removed his sunglasses and looked at the crying child. "Hey, sweetheart," he said softly, crouching down to her level. "What's your name?" Sarah," the girl stuttered. "My daddy, he's in there. Mommy's sick too, but they won't let her in." Reed's jaw tightened. He looked up at the guards, his eyes narrowing. "Is this true?" "Hospital rules," the guard replied, crossing his arms again. "No one gets in without clearance." "Rules are fine," Reed said, standing tall, his voice now colder. "But Heartless isn't." Within minutes, the rest of the Hells Angels arrived. Engines rumbling, jackets emblazoned with the unmistakable wings and skull. The hospital staff peeked nervously from the windows. People began to whisper, "The Hells Angels are here." Reed didn't care about the stairs. He walked straight to the hospital reception desk. "Get the hospital director," he demanded. "Now." The nurse behind the counter hesitated, but saw the look in his eyes. This wasn't a threat. It was desperation wrapped in determination. A few moments later, Dr. Harris, the hospital director, stepped out, visibly tense. "Is there a problem?" he asked carefully. Reed pointed toward the woman. "Yeah, there's a big problem. That woman's husband is dying in your ICU, and your guards are treating her like she's a criminal. You need to fix that. Now." Dr. Harris sighed. "Sir, the ICU has strict protocols due to recent renovations and infection control. She's not asking to walk around your corridors," Reed interrupted. "She's asking to hold her husband's hand before he takes his last breath. You telling me that's against your rules too?" The doctor looked at the woman, her tears, her shaking hands, her little girl clinging to her. The weight of the moment hit him. He finally nodded. "You're right," he said quietly. "Let her in." Sarah's mother broke down in gratitude, whispering, Thank you so much," as the guard stepped aside. She ran inside, leaving Sarah in Reed's care. The little girl looked up at him with wide eyes. "Are you angels?" she asked innocently. Reed chuckled softly. "Something like that, kiddo." While her mom went inside, Reed and the bikers waited outside with Sarah. They bought her hot chocolate from the nearby cafe, wrapped her in one of their leather jackets, and told her stories about how real strength wasn't about muscles or bikes. It was about helping others when nobody else would. Hours passed before Sarah's mother emerged, eyes swollen but calm. Her husband was gone. He hadn't made it, but she'd been there to say goodbye, to hold his hand in his final moments. She walked toward the bikers, her steps unsteady, and said, "He passed, but he knew I was there. Thank you. You gave us that moment." Reed took off his cap, bowing his head. He went in peace. That's what matters. Days later, the story spread like wildfire through Rockford. News stations picked it up. Hells Angels help family in need outside hospital. People who once crossed the street to avoid them now nodded in respect. But the story didn't end there. A few weeks later, the Hells Angels returned to the same hospital, this time with dozens of boxes, each filled with medical supplies, toys for children, and a check large enough to cover emergency care for families who couldn't afford it. When Dr. Harris saw them, he was speechless. Reed simply said, "No family should be turned away because of rules or money. We can't change the world, but we can change one moment at a time." Sarah ran up to him, hugging his leg. "Mom says you're our guardian angel," she whispered. Reed smiled, placing his rough hand gently on her shoulder. "Nah, kid," he said with a wink. "I just ride where I'm needed." In the end, the message was clear. Heroes don't always wear uniforms or badges. Sometimes they wear leather jackets and ride roaring machines, but their hearts beat for compassion, justice, and the simple act of doing what's right. And somewhere in Rockford, when the sound of Harley engines echoed through the streets, people didn't hear noise anymore. They heard hope.